Surveillance footage from the Northgate Light Rail Station shows a man waiting peacefully for his train. Out of nowhere, a complete stranger approaches him from behind and violently shoves him towards the tracks, just as a massive train is pulling into the station. Miraculously, the victim manages to catch his balance and avoid tumbling directly into the path of the oncoming vehicle. But the attacker wasn't finished. He stepped forward and shoved the victim a second time, clearly determined to send him over the edge. Once again, the man managed to stay on his feet, prompting the cowardly attacker to flee the scene. Thanks to this crystal clear CCTV footage and some solid police work, authorities tracked down the suspect, 26-year-old Eliseo Melendez, at a nearby mental health community facility. When detectives confronted him about the unprovoked attack, Melendez denied it was him, bizarrely claiming, "Maybe that was my twin that I don't have." The police, of course, weren't buying it. He was promptly booked into jail and charged with second-degree attempted murder. Thankfully, the victim walked away with his life, but it's a chilling example of how quickly an ordinary commute can turn into a desperate fight for survival. This footage shows Nick Rayner, son of Hollywood director Rob Rayner, entering a convenience store in LA on the night of December 14th, 2025. For the store clerk working the night shift, this is a scary encounter in hindsight. Earlier that day, Nick Rayner had allegedly murdered his parents, whose bodies were discovered after they had suffered multiple stab wounds. Nick's sister had alerted the police, and surveillance cameras also captured Nick Rayner being arrested just moments after leaving the store. He has since been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder but pleaded to guilty. It just goes to show, you never know who might walk into your store. Some videos escalate faster than others. Here, we have a woman who approached another on the street. Immediately, they start arguing, and the woman in the yellow appears to produce a knife. The argument continues for several seconds, with the woman in blue producing her own knife. Finally, it gets violent. The two trade jabs and square off in the middle of the sidewalk while cars and pedestrians watch. The woman in blue is already injured, and she is finally starting to lose her ability to stand. As people start to crowd around the injured woman, her attacker just disappears into the crowd. This took place in Cali, Mexico, but there is no news about what happened afterward. Parking lots are meant to be monitored for safety, but this incident shows how security can sometimes escalate a situation into total tragedy. On May 29th, 49-year-old Freddie Nelson was fatally shot 4 times through his windshield at the Delta Park Center lot. The shooter, 28-year-old Logan Gimbel, was a guard for the Cornerstone Security Group, a company that, as it turns out, wasn't even licensed to have armed guards on the job.
My property. You know you've been trespassed. You know you're not supposed to be here. you refusing to leave my property?
Yeah. Oh, you. Oh, I'm calling the fucking cops now. What?
I told you to leave property. I told you to leave property. You've been trespassed and warned multiple times.
I'm calling the police. Son of a bitch. Get the... God damn it!
Get the vehicle now! You already tried to hit me once! You move this vehicle again, I will fire!
The conflict started when Gimbel ordered Nelson and his wife to leave the property. When they refused, the guard pepper sprayed them through their car window. As Nelson started to drive forward, Gimbel threatened to shoot and then opened fire directly into the vehicle.
I told you to stop and do not angle the vehicle at me! Call the authorities now!
Oh, God! Help me!
The body camera footage is truly devastating, capturing the raw shock and grief of Nelson's wife as she screams for help, realizing her husband has been killed.
Are you on the authorities with them right now?
I'm on 911 right now.
Told them that he's been trespassed multiple times.
I watched you.
Okay.
Chillingly, another guard arrived and told Gimbel not to worry, because she had supposedly seen the whole thing. Here's a situation in which the fighter clearly had the upper hand. The footage comes from a local supermarket in the Caucasus. The situation starts normally enough, with customers paying for their goods and interacting with the checkout clerk. Then, out of nowhere, one of the customers appears to get angry, grabbing the clerk and fighting with random employees. But keep your eye on the guy in the blue. He delivers a punch combination that completely disables the man, causing him to calm down immediately. Apparently, he's a Sambo wrestler who just happened to be there to intervene. As they say, the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a fist is a good guy with a fist, right? Let's head down to Australia for a deeply unsettling video that proves just how relentless some predators can be. This security footage was released by police in Sydney as they hunted down a dangerous stalker prowling around the suburb of Belmore. The story behind this footage is straight out of a horror movie. On the night of December 8th, a 31-year-old woman was walking home from the Belmore railway station when she realized a man was following closely behind her. Trusting her instincts, she immediately bolted and managed to get away safely. But her nightmare wasn't over. Just 2 days later, The exact same woman was walking along a nearby street when she was suddenly grabbed from behind. It was the same man. He covered her mouth and desperately tried to drag her toward an apartment complex. Fortunately, she fought back like her life depended on it, eventually breaking free and calling for help. When police reviewed the CCTV footage from the area, the truth became even more chilling. Just moments before the attempted abduction, the suspect had been following another woman who was forced to take refuge in a stranger's front yard just to escape him. Later footage showed this depraved creep returning to the very same train station a couple of weeks later, where he spent 2 hours stalking multiple different women. In hopes of finally taking him off the streets, police released these clips to the public. If this doesn't make you want to look over your shoulder on your walk home, nothing will.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Ох, сука, вот это шоу, блядь. Ой-ой-ой. Ёбаный. Ты чё, дурак, нахуй? Ой, ёпта. Ты чё творишь, блядь? Ой, сука. Я ж говорю, шоу будет, блядь. Ебать.
Okay, is anyone surprised that this stunt gone wrong is happening in a liquor store? I mean, stereotypes can do a lot of damage, but the fact that this man is attempting an improvised high-wire act to avoid what looks like half a dozen officers seems to imply alcohol has been involved at some point.
Ой-ой. О! Ты чё творишь? Ох, тебя бить будут нормально, блядь. Ох, сука, вот это шлё. Это типа.
Let's head back to the UK, where it seems even a trip in a prison van isn't enough to keep some criminals off the streets. In March 2025, a 33-year-old man named Jamie Cooper made a daring and highly calculated escape from a secure transport vehicle on the M55 motorway in Lincolnshire. At the time, Cooper was in a GeoAmey vehicle being transported to the Lancaster Magistrates Court. During the drive, he suddenly claimed he was experiencing a severe medical emergency. Bound by protocol, the guards on board were forced to pull the van over near Junction 2 to offer him assistance. But the moment they stopped to help, Cooper made his move. Instead of needing medical attention, the man overpowered the escort officers, sprang out of the van, and completely vanished. Police quickly launched a massive manhunt, releasing CCTV footage of Cooper being escorted from police custody into the van earlier that morning, as well as subsequent clips of him wandering around the city of Preston on the run. Authorities immediately warned the public not to approach him under any circumstances. The transport company, meanwhile, was forced to launch a full investigation into exactly how an inmate managed to pull a fast one on the guards and simply walk away on a busy motorway. It's a terrifying reminder that some people will do absolutely anything to escape the consequences of their actions. When a couple of thieves broke into a convenience store one night in Calgary, the clerk refused to sit back and do nothing. Dramatic footage shows the clerk in the light green shirt fending off both intruders like a man fighting with a pair of dogs. Despite being kicked in the face, He strips a crowbar from one of the robbers while holding it onto the other, who is wielding a pickaxe. Eventually, the clerk makes a run for it, not because he's scared, but because he has a plan. He locks the thieves inside the store and blocks the door with a bench while waiting for the police to arrive. Unfortunately, the robbers are still able to escape, smashing the windows with their tools. But the story doesn't end there. Incredibly, the clerk gives chase and is able to catch one of them, pinning them down until police arrive. The other robber was found and arrested the following day. Identified as Arthur Gordon Benny, age 35, and Natalie Corey Lynn Elishuk, age 24, the thieves were charged with multiple crimes, including robbery, assault with a weapon, disguise with intent, and uttering threats. The video now serves as a warning to any other potential robbers not to mess with this particular store and its badass clerk. This video is a doozy. In March of 2026, a man called 911 to tell officers he was armed and planning to shoot up a Planet Fitness. The driver provides a lot of information and seems to be having a mental breakdown of some sort, invoking God and talking about trees while the dispatcher attempts to calm him down.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
I'm at Planet Fitness and I got a gun and I'm going to go in there and shoot everybody.
I'm sorry, you said you're at Planet Fitness, the one on Spark, 640 North McCarran?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I'm going there and I'm going to kill everybody.
You said you're going to go in there and kill everybody? Why are you going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
What is your name? Hello?
Jed Dyer.
You said your name is Jay?
Yeah.
Okay, it's really hard to hear you. Are you outside of the business, or where are you?
I'm in a Chevy S10.
You're in a Chevy S10. What color?
White.
Are you parked in front of the Planet Fitness, or where are you? Joe, are you there?
Yeah.
Do you have a gun on you?
Yeah.
You do have a gun on you? What kind of gun do you have?
One that fires.
Okay, is it a handgun or a rifle?
Handgun.
Do you know what kind of gun it is? Like a 9mm, 45mm?
It's one that'll make you shoot me.
Are you white, black, Hispanic?
Friend of God.
What's that?
I'm just a friend of God.
After hanging up with the dispatcher, he uses his car to charge at police officers, who swiftly open fire after spotting the gun.
He's coming at us pretty quick.
Shot fired.
I'm trapped in my vehicle. Hold on.
Hey, watch the crossfire. With you.
Hold on. Move around.
Hey, move around. Pull over here. Hey, back up. Hey, back up.
When he came across, he pointed the gun right at me. Hey, let's swing this way so I can get behind this car.
Dashcam footage shows just how aggressively he rammed the officers. He was later pronounced dead at the scene. Parking lots can feel deceptively empty, but this security footage shows exactly how dangerous that isolation can be. As a woman walks through the lot, a car that had just pulled in suddenly swerves and stops right in her path. Three men jump out and start a terrifying chase. Though she tries to run, they quickly catch her, throw her to the ground, and strike her before stealing her belongings. It's a brutal thing to watch, especially seeing her left alone on the concrete while they simply speed away. Even though the cameras caught the whole incident, the suspect and the vehicles haven't been identified yet. It really makes you think twice about how much you're paying attention when you're out there alone in a quiet lot. The case of Tamara Samsonova is one of the more disturbing modern true crime stories to come out of Russia. At first glance, she looks like a sweet old lady. She even blows kisses at the camera, but in reality, she is known as the Granny Ripper.
Ну вот это вот то, что пенсионерка, имеете регистрацию, обязуйтесь.
The surveillance video shows her dragging a heavy bag outside of her apartment. Inside those bags were the dismembered remains of her friend and roommate. Investigators later tied her to as many as 14 killings, including that of her husband, some of whom may have been eaten. So, yeah, send those kisses right back, please. There's something uniquely chilling about seeing a person act completely normal just hours before committing an unspeakable crime. This CCTV footage from New South Wales, Australia, shows 37-year-old Julian Ingram casually standing outside a police station, taking a drag from his vape. It was just after 8 a.m. on January 22, 2026, and he was there to fulfill his mandatory daily bell reporting for previous domestic violence charges against his ex-girlfriend. He looks calm, bored, and completely collected, but what he did later that afternoon is the absolute definition of depraved. Just hours after checking in with the authorities, Ingram drove to the remote town of Lake Carjacking and unleashed a horrific shooting spree. He hunted down his pregnant former partner, her new boyfriend, and her aunt, callously gunning all three of them down in broad daylight. The fourth victim, a 19-year-old man, was also critically injured in the brutal attack. Following the bloodbath, Ingram hopped into his work truck and vanished into the rugged Australian outback. A massive manhunt immediately ensued, but finding a fugitive in the vast, acrid scrubland is no easy task. Even with a staggering $250,000 reward on the table, Ingram managed to elude capture for weeks. What makes the story even darker is that authorities eventually concluded someone in the remote community was likely helping him survive out in the harsh terrain. Imagine risking your own freedom to secretly shelter someone who just wiped out an entire family. The dangers of being a barista are not limited to being burned by hot coffee, especially in the early hours of the morning. Cameras outside a drive-thru coffee stand captured the terrifying moment when a man attempted to kidnap a barista in Washington state. It was around 5 a.m. when the female worker went to give a customer his change, and the man reached out, grabbed her arm, and attempted to wrap a looped zip tie around her. His plan was to pull her into his car, but fortunately, she was able to fight him off and retreat to safety. The man was later arrested at his home and charged with attempted kidnapping. Imagine, all she wanted to do was serve some coffee, and she ended up being traumatized and almost kidnapped.
Olha. Olha, ele não quer deixar nós passar mesmo.
Vai, põe aí pra poder mandar, pra entregar pra polícia, gente.
É. Olha, mostrou o dedo do meio pra nós ainda.
This is one of those videos that isn't just bad because of the footage itself, but because of the context. This footage shows an ambulance attempting to get around a white Volkswagen that seems completely reluctant to move. He even flips off the ambulance drivers, refusing to let them by.
Para! Mande parar, Júnior. Vem achei, Júnior.
Não, entregar pra família, porque nós não conseguimos chegar, ó. Ó, vou tentar passar por aqui, ó. Olha, não deixa.
Soca aí, Júnior.
Ó, olha.
Soca aí, Júnior.
Não, deixa
Tá
ele.
filmando?
Tá filmando, né?
Vai, tenta passar, gente, só pra ele ficar aí.
Não, ele não deixa.
Ele ficar dançando.
Ó, ele não deixa. Ó.
Vai, vamos entregar, nem te passa ali, vou entregar na polícia. Vamos entregar na polícia. Vamos arrumar problema pra ele.
Apparently, they were on their way to rescue a 91-year-old woman who suffered a stroke. Since they couldn't make it to the hospital in time, she ended up dying. I mean, why would you ever even consider doing this? In the early morning hours, around 12:45 a.m., a routine patrol turned into a nightmare for undercover Dallas officer Nathaniel Chapman. While he was sitting in his covert vehicle in a lot near Interstate 35E, 3 teenagers suddenly pulled up and boxed him in. The surveillance footage shows the suspects forcing him out of the car, and the shootout erupts almost immediately. Chapman tried to defend himself, but he was shot before the suspects jumped into his vehicle and sped away. It's honestly terrifying to see that even being trained and armed doesn't protect you from a split-second ambush in a dark parking lot. It's exactly the kind of environment where you're the most vulnerable because you can be cornered so easily. Thankfully, Chapman survived to call for help, but the brazenness of these young carjackers is truly disturbing. By now, you should be getting the point that Russians tend to take things to the extreme. That goes for the drunk drivers as well. This footage shows police in pursuit of a driver who not only refused to stop, but continued to drive away even after the police warned them that they were going to start shooting at him. Of course, that's exactly what they did.
Стреляй, стреляй по заднему колесу. Стреляй. Населенный пункт зайдет, стреляй. Стреляй, стреляй. Есть. Стреляй. Переднее колесо, стреляй.
After several minutes of pursuit, the officer in the passenger seat starts using his sidearm to take out the tires, but the man keeps driving.
Останавливайся, не уедет все равно далеко. Переднее спустил, ништяк. Все, далеко не уйдет он. Останавливайся, говорю, останавливайся, руки в сторону.
Finally, they're able to apprehend him, only to find out that he looks like your average history teacher. You'd sort of hope that he'd at least be dressed funny.
At the moment, arresting you for attempt murder, okay? You do
I beg your pardon?
May harm you defence. You do not mention the question.
I beg your pardon? You're joking?
Anything you do say may be given evidence.
No.
Sometimes, the monsters are the people who are supposed to protect us. This heart-wrenching case out of Cambridgeshire, England, involves 31-year-old Kane Mitchell and his girlfriend's 12-week-old baby, Teddy. In late 2019, little Teddy was brought to the hospital unresponsive. Doctors quickly discovered a horrifying catalog of injuries, including 17 broken ribs, fractures to his skull and collarbone, and severe brain damage. Detectives immediately suspected abuse and turned their attention to the mother and her boyfriend. This body cam footage shows the exact moment police confront Mitchell at the hospital. Right before the officers step in, he's putting on a show, hovering over the boy in intensive care and pretending to be a doting father. But the second the detective tells him he's under arrest on suspicion of murder, the performance kicks into overdrive. Mitchell begins wailing, squeezing out the most unconvincing crocodile tears you will ever see. He shouts at the officers, acting completely stunned and yelling, "I would never hurt a baby." It's honestly one of the most pathetic displays of fake crying ever recorded. He isn't crying for the innocent 12-week-old he brutally assaulted. He's just crying because he realizes he's finally been caught. The medical evidence was overwhelming. It proved that Mitchell had forcefully gripped, violently shaken, and struck the defenseless infant against the hard surface. Completely devoid of empathy or remorse, Mitchell was ultimately sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 18 years. Honestly, even that doesn't seem like enough.
At the moment, arresting you for attempt murder, okay? You do
I beg your pardon?
May harm you defence. You do not mention the question.
I beg your pardon? You're joking?
Anything you do say may be given evidence.
No.
Very upsetting time.
No. I beg your pardon?
Madam, I have to say the same to you.
Is that the same
Okay, my colleagues, so we are arresting you on suspicion
Oh my God!
of attempt.
Maybe it's all the additives and preservatives that make people act crazy at fast food places, although that still doesn't explain why people bring weapons to McDonald's. This brawl was filmed at a McDonald's in Chicago. The incident probably would have been lost among the countless other fights if not for a woman who used a hammer to hit a 16-year-old girl in the face. 36-year-old Hannah Walker was arrested and charged with misdemeanor battery after injuring the teen. Where did she even get the hammer from? It definitely didn't come as a toy in a Happy Meal. The security guard can be seen trying to break up the mass of women, but there's little he can do to control the chaos. When you think about it, it's crazy that McDonald's even employs security, but sadly, it's all too necessary these days. It's almost impossible to imagine what can make someone so angry that they would react this way. I mean, this person is going to go to jail for a long time for this. And for what? What could she possibly get out of throwing a temper tantrum like this?
You think I give a about it? Y'all niggas got the right plan, Mom.
This is one.
Boy.
He's here. He's still here. 514.
Platform over. Gas station. She has just left already. She has a goddamn suitcase with her.
Condo garages are supposed to feel secure, but this Toronto incident proves that they can be the perfect trap for a coordinated ambush. In King West Village, 2 armed men in ski masks used their car to box in a victim inside an underground parking level. They didn't just stop at a carjacking. They forced the victim into their own home at gunpoint, handcuffed them, and began a violent robbery. When a third person unexpectedly showed up and confronted the intruders, they were shot 3 times. Thankfully, the individual survived, but they were left with life-altering injuries. A 28-year-old suspect was eventually caught and charged with attempted murder and robbery. It's a chilling example of how a routine arrival home can turn into a violent home invasion in the blink of an eye. In September of 2017, a 9th grader carried out an attack on a school in Ivanteyevka, a suburb northeast of Moscow. Footage from that day shows him walking to the facility, where he spends several moments pacing outside. He then enters the school and takes out a cleaver and an air rifle, while using smoke bombs to terrify everyone he comes into contact with. Fortunately, most of the students were able to escape unharmed, but 1 teacher was seriously injured and 3 students were hurt. Apparently, this student was obsessed with school attacks, particularly Columbine, which prompted the authorities to further crack down on online communities promoting violence.
Like that second shot a little better, don't you? Yeah.
When you think of the phrase depraved, a quadruple amputee professional cornhole player might not be the first thing that comes to mind. But this bizarre and tragic case out of Maryland will quickly change your perspective. 27-year-old Dayton Weber, who lost his arms and legs to a severe infection as a baby, had built an inspiring life as a competitive athlete. But in March 2026, things took a deeply disturbing turn. According to police, Weber was driving his Tesla SUV with his friend, Bredrick Wells, in the front passenger seat and 2 witnesses in the back. A heated argument broke out, which ended with Weber producing a gun and fatally shooting his friend. As if that wasn't shocking enough, Weber reportedly pulled over and asked the backseat passengers to help him dispose of the body. They immediately refused, fled the vehicle, and flagged down the police. Weber drove off, dumping the victim's body in a random yard before fleeing to a hospital in Virginia, where he was eventually arrested.
Let me get your phone.
Naturally, this horrific crime left everyone asking the same question. How does a quadruple amputee manage to fire a weapon, let alone drive a getaway car? Shortly after his arrest, resurfaced footage from Weber's own YouTube channel provided the answer. The unsettling clips show Weber effortlessly climbing a hunting stand with a rifle strapped to his back, while another shows him skillfully emptying the magazine of a 9mm handgun at a target. Weber's defense attorneys have claimed the shooting was self-defense, but now facing first-degree murder charges, his days of inspiring the public appear to be over. When you never quite know who's going to get into your car, especially at night, having a camera is always a smart idea.
PJ, right? Yeah. Where you going? Colonial Crest?
No, I'm playing, bro.
Seriously? Get the out.
Yo, watch your mouth.
Okay, well, look, I have no problem.
Yo, watch your
I have no problem with you, but I'm trying to do a job.
You gonna watch your mouth. You gonna watch how you talk to me, son.
In Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a driver picked up a customer who immediately became confrontational. The driver remained calm, but the dispute was about to take a very scary turn.
On my mother's side, you gonna watch your talking.
Okay.
On my mother.
Can you please get out of my car?
You gonna watch your talking. What's up?
Dude!
What's up with you? So what you trying to do?
All I'm asking you to do is please get out of my car.
Don't talk to me crazy. What's up? What's up?
Dude! Get the trying to get out of here. Can you please get out of my car right now?
Pockets. Everything you got. Everything
I don't have anything in my pocket.
Everything you got for a billion
Yo! Get out of my car right now. Yo. Get out of my car. Dude!
As the guy in the black distracts the driver, his buddy, who stood by the driver's window, pulls a gun and points it at the driver's head. It was never a legit ride. It was a robbery. Despite how terrifying the situation must be, the driver keeps his composure and continues to ask them to leave, saying he's just trying to do his job. Eventually, he's able to drive away unharmed. It's such a shame that criminals torment people who are offering services that help others and who are just trying to earn a living. This driver had been driving for 9 months and says he installed the camera himself as a safety measure, which is not a requirement by the company. In his words, if anything good should come out of this, is that Uber and Lyft should provide you with a dash cam. This incident happened 7 years ago, and although the two suspects were caught and charged with robbery and assault, dash cams are still not mandatory. Should they be?
What you want to do? What you want to do? Come on.
I got you. Got you.
It's America.
Keep talking. Keep talking. Not from Iran, but whatever.
Here's another brave American man doing his best to act like a complete racist idiot. Apparently, he'd been following the man filming for some time, then decided to spit on her while she retreated inside a store.
What you talking about? No, you just came right here.
Put my hands right here, bro.
What you doing?
Yeah.
I got you on. I got you on. I got you on camera.
The second he opens the door, he starts leveling racist threats and talking about Iran, a place this person is not from. Later, the altercation gets physical, but the man decides to finally use his head and run away. I mean, if you're going to talk like you're from the streets, you might want to back it up. At 2 a.m. on June 24th, 2022, Officer John Cox was called to a local bar to handle a disturbance that had spilled out into a parking lot. Upon arrival, he found a heavily intoxicated man, later identified as Christopher Hanna, who had visible injuries to his face and head. Hanna claimed that he had just been in a physical fight with two bikers who had punched him, and he surprisingly admitted to the officer that he had fired his gun at them at least twice. After securing the weapon, Officer Cox attempted to detain the suspect, but Hanna began backing away and refused to follow commands to put his hands behind his back. Because the suspect had already confessed to using a firearm, the officer didn't take any chances. He pushed Hanna into a patch of grass to safely handcuff him without further incident.
Am I under arrest?
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and detain you.
Am I under arrest?
Settle down. Settle down.
Am I under arrest?
I just told you to turn around and put your hands behind your back. Turn around. On your goddamn back.
I'm not.
Or I'm gonna kick these out of you. You understand?
I'm not resisting.
Put your hands behind your back.
I'm not resisting.
Put your hands behind your back.
Yeah, you ain't now.
I didn't do anything.
I told you to turn around, son.
All I did was ask a question.
I don't give a You don't do that. You don't put your hands up.
I didn't put my hands
your
up.
arms, dude.
I didn't put my
I
hands
don't give a
up.
shit. Learn to act right.
What am I doing wrong? Look.
Surveillance footage from the bar later painted a much more aggressive picture than Hannah's story, showing him approaching the bikers with an object before returning with a gun and opening fire. He even pointed the weapon at a woman who witnessed the entire ordeal. It's crazy to think how quickly the social atmosphere of a bar parking lot can take a dark turn. We don't have any news on the commanding officer from the last video, but we do know the victim in this case didn't make it. The footage shows a fight that occurred in the Dominsky district in 2024. You can see a crowd of people watching as the two men scuffle. However, at one point in the brawl, one of the men produces a knife and starts stabbing the other one, sending him straight to the ground. The crowd did try to get him to the hospital, but his injuries were too severe. Sometimes the most chilling images aren't the ones showing the crime itself, but the innocent moments captured just seconds before tragedy strikes. In September 2017, 25-year-old Ann Faber set out for a routine evening bike ride in the Netherlands. During her ride, a heavy rainstorm rolled in. At 6:50 p.m., Ann stopped to snap a quick selfie to send to her boyfriend. She's completely drenched, flashing a peace sign and playfully smiling through the bad weather. It's a completely normal, lighthearted text. But this photo would become the last image of Ann ever taken. Mere minutes after she sent this image, her path crossed with a man named Michael P. He was a convicted sex offender who, in a staggering failure of the justice system, had been allowed unsupervised leave from a nearby psychiatric clinic. Seeing Ann alone on the deserted road, he deliberately rammed his scooter into her bicycle. After knocking her to the ground, he forced her into the woods at knife point, where he brutally assaulted and murdered her. When Ann failed to come home, a massive search was launched, and this haunting selfie was circulated across the world. Thanks to DNA found on her discarded jacket, police eventually tracked the killer down. He was later sentenced to 28 years in prison. It's absolutely terrifying to look at this smiling young woman and realize that one of the most depraved monsters imaginable was waiting for her just down the road. At 4:45 in the morning, Madeline Guinto is opening a small roadside coffee stand called Hottie Shots Espresso in Kent, Washington. Known as the Bikini Barista, she is preparing the machines with her back to the window when evil approaches. The attacker climbs through the window and pounces on Madeline, giving her no time to react. Within seconds, he's behind her, armed with a knife, forcing her to the ground. Madeline later recalls the man told her that if she didn't leave with him, he was going to kill her, and that's when he pressed the knife against her throat. He forces her out of the window and takes her to an alley, where he then attempts to rape her. 33-year-old Michael Reynolds, who has an extensive criminal history, was swiftly arrested. Charged with attempted burglary, a court sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Imagine people are chasing you, and you become so desperate to escape that you jump into a random vehicle. That's what's happening here. The problem is, the driver hesitates. What follows is a brutal attack with knives, with two men repeatedly stabbing at the passenger.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Drive, Uncle, please!
Please! Please, please! Please! My car is everything broke,
Uncle,
my friend.
Uncle.
My friend, everything broke.
Uncle, drive fast, Uncle. Drive fast, Uncle.
My friend, everything, my car
Uncle,
is
drive
broke.
fast. I'm gonna pay you, Uncle. Look, Uncle.
They're coming. You're going somewhere, my friend.
Hey, take money, Uncle. I'll give you money. Don't worry, Uncle.
Where are you going?
Drive fast.
Finally, the driver pulls out, but he's still hesitant to keep going due to the damage to his car. That's when his wounded passenger pulls out some money. This encourages him to keep driving, but the men are still following the car. As he directs the older man to the police station, the older man calls the police to report what's happening.
I need the police. I'm getting followed. I'm getting followed by a car. Uncle,
I'm ready to go. My car
Uncle, go straight, Uncle. Miss, I'm getting followed by a car.
Brother, get behind me, brother.
Yeah, I'm getting followed by a car, miss.
The background here is that this was an attempted robbery, and the victim was actually in the Uber with the perpetrators before it all went down. With friends like these, who needs enemies, right? On April 25th, 2022, two officers shot 20-year-old D'Anthony Van Atten at a Meijer parking lot following a weapons complaint. The caller had reported seeing a man retrieve a handgun from his vehicle and place it in his pocket before entering the store. When officers arrived, they identified a subject matching the description and initiated a foot chase.
Yeah, yellow stripes on the side, all flash. Back up. Hey, let me see your hands, let me see your hands. Get him, hey, get him, hey! Running. Black male, white jacket, black mask, blue jeans. Going westbound towards Applebee's. Westbound towards Applebee's. He's got a gun! He's got a gun! He's got a gun! It's fired. 2 shots fired.
During their pursuit, police opened fire approximately 4 times after realizing the suspect was armed.
Is he shot? Hey, is he shot?
Come over here.
Who's shot?
Come over here. Check her for a gun.
I don't have the gun. What do you mean? Because he shot for no reason.
Smith & Wesson pistol. One in the chamber. We don't know how many are in the magazine yet. Underneath this vehicle right here, which is a Volt. West side of the Fresh Meijer parking lot.
Yeah.
While a witness who knew the suspect claimed he did not have a weapon, officers successfully recovered a firearm at the scene. Van Atten was treated at a hospital for 1 week before being booked into the Ingham County Jail for a probation violation. He has since been released, and no other injuries were reported from the scene. Here's a short but crazy video out of Ilomsk. Though you can't really see the details, you should be glad that's the case. The sound you heard was a gunshot from a military draftee shooting his commanding officer, because he wasn't exactly keen on going to war. Next up, we have a case that truly highlights the cold, callous nature of a remorseless killer. In August 2023, 52-year-old Amir Gaeta was working an overnight shift as an Uber and Lyft driver in Seattle, Washington. The hard-working immigrant and father of 2 was simply parked in his Toyota Prius when he was approached by an 18-year-old Niana Allen Bailey. surveillance footage from the area captured the horrifying encounter. After Alan Bailey approached the driver's side door, Gator stepped out of the vehicle. A brief struggle ensued before Alan Bailey pulled a gun and shot the innocent man in the chest, leaving him to die right there in the street. But it's what she did next that earns her a spot on this list. Rather than fleeing in panic or showing any ounce of remorse, Alan Bailey casually hopped into Gator's Prius and drove off. Over the next 2 days, she took the murdered man's car on a bizarre joyride around the Seattle area. She threw his cell phone and personal belongings out the window, visited her family, smoked marijuana, and even drove the stolen vehicle to a salon to get her hair done. She also stopped by a local Walmart to purchase an Xbox and an Apple Watch. Her twisted joyride finally ended when police spotted the stolen car parked illegally and arrested her. In March 2026, Alan Bailey pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Sadly, this is a sentence that will never bring back the beloved father she so callously gunned down. It's a quiet night at a cookout in Chesterfield County, Virginia, until a blue Toyota sedan rolls up to the drive-thru window. At first, it seems like the usual routine, as the worker hands the customer their order and gives them their change. But for some unknown reason, this driver isn't just thirsty for a drink, he's thirsty for blood. In his right hand, he is holding a gun. After waiting for a moment, he presses the gun against the inside of the car door and fires directly through it into the restaurant window. One worker is hit, and the gunman pulls away with a female passenger and 2 children in the back seats. The worker, who is just going about their shift, probably counting the minutes until closing time, didn't know what hit them. Literally. Thankfully, they survived with non-life-threatening injuries. 23-year-old Jose Hernandez was arrested as the shooter, and months later, he pled guilty to shooting into an occupied building and reckless handling of a firearm, resulting in serious bodily injury. His reason for the shooting, as well as the sentence he received, is unknown. Robberies come in all sorts of forms, and all of them are at least a little depraved. But this goes far beyond the standard smash and grab. The video starts with some people looking at a wall of merchandise. One of them leaves, at which point he returns holding a long knife. Suddenly, you realize that you're watching the middle of a robbery, not the beginning of one. The second robber appears at this point, seemingly holding a gun. The tension of the moment is not lost on everyone else in the crowded store, as there's nowhere to go. two men start going through the employee's pockets and loading a bag with merchandise, one of the employees makes a move, tackling the man with the gun. That's when his accomplice runs in and starts stabbing indiscriminately. The next few seconds look like something out of WWE, with the employee using everything available to hold the robbers at bay. Finally, it's all over, but both men are injured and there is blood on the floor. Kudos to them for fighting the men off. Let's hope those sirens mean the police got them.
Get out of the car.
What? On October 2nd, 2022, a police officer opened fire on two teenagers in a McDonald's parking lot in San Antonio, Texas. Officer James Bernard, who had been with the department for only 7 months, was responding to a disturbance call when he spotted a vehicle he believed had evaded him during a prior incident. After requesting backup, Bernard approached the car and abruptly pulled open the door, catching the driver, Eric Cantu, completely off guard while he was unarmed and eating a burger.
I got a vehicle over here that fled from me the other day. He's in the parking lot.
Yeah, get somebody else on it.
Get out of the car.
When Cantu attempted to reverse the vehicle, the car door struck the officer, leading Bernard to fire his weapon multiple times as the car fled the scene. Cantu was subsequently hospitalized with critical injuries and was initially charged with evading detention and assault on a peace officer. Bernard was also treated at the scene for leg injuries sustained during the encounter. Shortly after the incident, the San Antonio Police Department announced that Bernard had been terminated as he was still within his probationary employment period. Here's another deranged murder caught on camera. This time, the footage is completely innocuous, just another person running through a high-speed train station. The scary part is why he's running. Specifically, he has just murdered a 17-year-old dental student, stabbing them at least 20 times. There are a few things more depraved than a parent turning on their own child. In May 2025, an absolutely shocking 911 call came in out of Charlotte County, Florida. A couple visiting a remote nature preserve stumbled upon a horrific sight, a 12-year-old girl bleeding heavily from severe knife wounds to her face and neck.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
You know what? We are in a state park. It's called, oh God, what is this park called? We're not from here. A little girl stopped us. She's bleeding. She said, really, Dan, pat her down, please. Don't let her in the car without patting her down.
Okay, how old is she?
How old is she? 12. What's her name?
Where's she bleeding from?
It looks like her head is her name. She's saying she's really lightheaded.
Okay, are you near I-75?
Yes, we are real close to 75. We're in that park that's right there by I-75. Here, let me unlock it.
I'm trying to get your location. Okay, just a moment. Don't hang up, please.
Okay. No, I won't. I won't hang up. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Are you on a trail?
We are in the park on the trail. Yeah, we can come out to the end of the park.
Okay, what kind of vehicle are you in?
We're in a Ford 350, F-350 truck. It's a golden tan.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm sorry. I wish I knew what market we're in.
It's okay. I'm going to try to get your location, okay?
We just happened to see it and thought, oh, well, we'll check it out. Dan, can you tell her what...
And what kind of wounds does she have right now?
Where's her wound, Dan?
What kind of wounds?
On her neck.
Do you know what they're
neck.
from?
They're cuts. She said they're cuts.
Wildlife.
Babcock Webb Wildlife Area.
Where's the mom?
She said the mom left.
Are you guys driving to the front of the park?
We are.
Okay.
We are. And she's bleeding.
Are you guys going towards Tucker's grade?
Stay awake.
Are you guys going towards Tucker's grade?
Tucker's, yes. Truckers.
Okay.
It's called Truckers. What was the name of that road? Truckers, yeah.
We are on Webb.
Are you with her right now?
Yes, we put her in the back.
How old is she again?
She's 12.
Okay, is she awake?
She is awake, but she keeps closing her eyes. I'm trying to keep her awake.
Is she breathing?
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Stay with us, okay? That's okay. You just hang on.
Do you know what kind of wounds she has?
Dan, can you explain them?
Yeah, she had quite a bit of blood on the back of her head. I didn't see any open wounds, but she's bleeding quite a bit.
Okay. Did she tell you where her mom went?
She just said her mom got in the car and drove off.
What color car?
What color car, sweetheart? It's a gold van.
Okay. What's the mom's name?
What's your mom's name? Glendon? Gwendolyn? Gwendolyn Gerard.
Okay. Does she know her home address?
I can ask.
Yeah, okay, a policeman just pulled up.
Okay, do they see you?
The sheriff, yes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect. Okay, they'll take it from here.
Okay.
The audio from the 911 call is chilling. The bystanders can be heard telling the dispatcher that the girl was awake but kept closing her eyes. But the most horrifying detail, the young girl told the couple that her own mother, 35-year-old Gwendolyn Gerard, was the one who did this to her. According to the girl, her mother stabbed her multiple times and then tried to hide her under some brush. To get the attack to stop, the brave 12-year-old girl actually had to play dead. Believing she had finished the job, Gerard got into her van and simply drove away, leaving her daughter to die in the dirt. Fortunately, the girl's quick thinking saved her life. She was rushed to the hospital in stable condition and immediately identified her attacker to the authorities. Gerard was tracked down shortly after and confessed to the heinous crime, even leading detectives to the knife. She was slapped with a $750,000 bond for aggravated child abuse and battery. As the local sheriff put it, it's a miracle this young girl is still alive, but the mental scars of being left for dead by her own mother will likely last a lifetime. When a guy got rejected by a girl at a McDonald's in New York, shouting turned into a fist fight, if you can call it that.
Nah, I ain't gonna point. He look like he about to. Yeah, I said it.
This guy seems completely unfazed by being hit in the head multiple times. They must have been some weak punches, but he's more bothered than you think, because what he pulls from his bag is about to turn the situation from laughable to terrifying.
please. Back up.
Nine.
Yo, tell me, you better tell, boy. Yo, I'm not.
Turns out this barbarian has an axe, and after smashing up the place and threatening the fools who hit him, he has some choice words for the woman who turned him down.
Sheila, that's why I keep my knife on me all the time, man. Shit like this. I know, man.
Lucky escape for her, I guess. And for everyone else. Oh, and if you're wondering where the staff was during all of that, can you blame them for not stepping in and trying to break things up? I'd be hiding out back with the rest of them. The number of people who get arrested while naked, you'd think that was their actual goal. Like many police videos, this one starts with a 911 call. The caller details how his naked neighbor just broke through his front door after punching his sister. The footage obviously confirms this.
911, what's your address to your emergency?
My neighbor just broke through the wall and punched his sister. I just saw her right now.
He just what?
He punched his sister, and he broke through my front door.
How did he break through your front door?
He rammed it and then hit his head through it.
Hey, what's up, Holmes?
I didn't know, not with this man.
Stop! No! Stop! You're gonna get paid! You're gonna get paid! Fuck it! Stop!
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Get on the ground!
Get on the ground!
The police show up quickly and chase the man, who appears to surrender. However, due to a drug or mental illness related episode, he instead starts to fight back. The police deploy a taser, but it has no effect on the man at all.
Stop! Get on the ground! Stop resisting! Get on the ground! No! Put it down!
Finally, he grabs a shovel and attempts to swing it at the officers, who are forced to open fire. Even after being shot, the man continues to fight. After a long, frustrating battle, they're able to subdue and arrest the man, who was transported to the hospital in stable condition. Again, strong drugs make for strong criminals.
Hands behind your back now! Do not move! You understand? You are going to get shot again! I got cover. Do not move!
You'd like to think an apartment complex parking lot would be safe during the middle of the day, but this footage from Fort Worth proves otherwise. At the Center Oaks Apartments, a woman was simply walking to her car when a man in a blue shirt suddenly ambushed her. After a quick struggle, he pulled a gun on her. At one point, he even pointed the weapon directly at the camera because the victim was screaming so loudly. It's a terrifying scene that shows how predators can strike even when the sun is out and people are nearby. Fortunately, the camera caught every detail, and Dallas police were able to track down the vehicle and arrest the suspect just hours later. Back in 2021, there was a mass shooting at Russia's Perm State University that killed at least 8 people. Footage from the scene shows the shooter approaching the school armed with at least one weapon. Shortly after the attack started, students began leaping out of windows in an attempt to escape the violence. At least 28 people were injured, and more than 19 were shot. This next clip is increasingly tough to stomach, as it captures the immediate aftermath of a horrific family massacre. In January 2026, police in Piscataway, New Jersey received frantic 911 calls from a local home. One call featured a woman screaming, "Stop, stop," in the background. A second call came from a terrified father who told dispatchers that his 29-year-old son, Jordan Barnes, was going ballistic and chasing him around the yard with a knife.
Hey, what's going on, man? You all right?
People locked me in the car, tried to kill me.
Come here.
Help me. No.
Look, yo, it's just a flashlight. I can't see. Yo, come on, man. Come on. All right, 302. He is armed with a knife. He just went inside and locked the door. And that's where we are right now.
When the first officer arrives, the body cam footage shows Jordan standing on the front porch. As the officer approaches, Jordan picks up a knife, retreats inside the house, and locks the door behind him. Moments later, he appears in a second-story window, making a chilling throat-slicing gesture at the police below and yelling that they aren't coming inside. Realizing the severity of the situation, an officer peers through a narrow window next to the front door and spots two unresponsive people lying on the floor.
Hey, Jordan, let me just talk to you, brother. Listen. No, listen. Jordan, listen, brother, listen. I'm calling in. Listen, let me just talk. Let me come inside and talk to you, man. Let me just talk to you, bro. Listen to me.
Hey, get back!
Using a key provided by the father, who had managed to escape, the officers breach the door. Inside, they are confronted by Jordan, who is still clutching a large kitchen knife. Despite repeated commands to drop the weapon and get on the ground, he refuses. The officers attempt to tase him, but it has absolutely no effect. As he advances towards them with the blade, one officer is forced to open fire, killing him. Tragically, they were too late to save the family inside. Officers discovered the body of Jordan's 60-year-old mother and his 84 and 86-year-old grandparents. All three had been brutally stabbed to death. It's just before closing time at Terry's Market in Dedham, Massachusetts. The door chime sounds, but rather than indicate another customer has arrived, it signals the arrival of someone much more terrifying.
Open the register. Open the register. Hurry up. Hurry up. Open it. Get the rest of the money. Get the rest of the money right now. Get the rest. This not it. This not it. Get the rest. Hurry up. Hurry up. That's not it. Get the rest. Come on. Nothing less. Open it up. Hurry up. Hurry it up. Hurry it up. Come on. Come on now. Get the rest. That's not it. Get the rest of the money. Don't lie to me. Please don't lie to me. I will shoot. Get the rest of the money.
Nothing, my brother. Just, I know what's here.
Come on.
Please, nothing, my brother. Nothing.
A man dressed in all black, with his face covered, is not what you want to see as a cashier. The intruder heads straight to the counter, armed with a gun, demanding money. He's calm, almost as if he has done this before. At least 9 times before, according to the FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force in Boston. His routine is all too familiar to law enforcement, yet they can't catch him. and they released this video as an appeal to anyone who can help identify the robber.
Nothing, nobody. Please.
Don't lie to me, please.
Nothing, nothing.
Please. Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
Nothing, please. Sorry, baby.
Turn around. Get down. Where's your mom? Where's the money?
No, nothing. Here, I got one. Nothing. Nothing.
What's your phone right here? Turn around. Put your hands up. I
know for nothing, okay?
Okay, turn around.
Sorry, buddy.
Turn around. I don't want to hurt.
No, no.
Turn around.
Oh.
Turn around. Stay like that.
Okay.
Matter of fact. Sit right there. Sit right there. Don't sit on the table. Sit down on the table. Sit down on the table.
Yeah.
Sit down. Turn around. Look this way. I don't want to shoot. Stay like that for 10 minutes. Yeah, that's if you look. Don't look.
Thankfully, the appeal for information worked. The suspect was identified as Taike Hallman, and in 2019, he was arrested after stealing more than $17,000 from at least 10 convenience stores. Nicknamed the Inconvenient Crook, the most recent update suggests he is facing up to 20 years in prison and a fine of $250,000 if found guilty. This video made the rounds in France, but nobody is 100% sure what it's showing. A man pushes two elderly people off a subway train, while the man tries to fight him. There's no information about what started this, who these people are, or who is in the right.
Attends, elle est partie. Ah, bah t'es parti.
Votre attention s'il vous plaît. Merci de vous intéresser à ce train et de vérifier qu'aucun objet ne s'oppose à leur fermeture.
Still, it's pretty frustrating to see an old man pushed onto the ground like that. Let's play it safe and rank this one a level 3. Surveillance cameras in a Detroit parking lot captured the terrifying moment a routine arrival turned into a crime scene. A woman pulls into the lot and exits her car, only to be immediately confronted by a hooded man brandishing a gun. He quickly robs her of her purse and keys before jumping into the driver's seat and speeding away in her vehicle. It's crazy how fast a carjacker can strike in an open lot, leaving a victim stranded and defenseless in just a matter of seconds. Here we have a robbery of what appears to be a liquor store. Already we have several failures, the first being the surveillance camera has been placed behind a large advertisement. The robber, who is using a camera, gets sprayed in the face with something, preventing him from robbing the register. Then, while he's distracted, a customer appears with a chair and bashes him several times on the head. After the customer and clerk take turns getting their shots in, they presumably call the police. If there is one case that truly defines the word depraved, it's the infamous 2012 Miami zombie incident. This footage, captured by surveillance cameras outside the Miami Herald building, shows an 18-minute nightmare that shocked the entire world. On a sunny Sunday afternoon, 31-year-old Rudy Eugene abandoned his car, stripped completely naked, and wandered around the MacArthur Causeway. There, he encountered a 65-year-old homeless man named Ronald Popo, who was resting in the shade. For reasons that remain a mystery to this day, Eugene brutally attacked him. The distant security footage captures the horrifying moment Eugene pounces on the unsuspecting man. He violently beats Popo unconscious, removes his pants, and then proceeds to do the unthinkable. He begins eating the man's face. As cars and cyclists casually roll by on the busy highway, the horrific mutilation continues uninterrupted. When a Miami police officer finally arrives on scene, he repeatedly orders the attacker to step away. Instead of complying, Eugene reportedly picked his head up, growled at the officer with human flesh in his mouth, and went right back to his gruesome meal. Left with no other choice, the officer opened fire, fatally shooting Eugene to end the attack. Miraculously, Ronald Popo survived the savage ordeal, though he lost his left eye and roughly 80% of his face. While initial media reports speculated that synthetic drugs like bath salts caused the psychotic break, toxicology reports found only a small amount of marijuana in Eugene's system, leaving his true motive a terrifying mystery. The thing about being an Uber driver at night is you're far more likely to have to deal with drunk passengers. That sobering reality hit home for one poor driver who was left in tears after a terrible experience.
Whoa. Whoa, you're scratching at my car, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll figure it out.
Go back and get them, please.
Well, it's up to me, honestly, and
Honestly, I think you need to go back and get them.
I need you to exit my vehicle, please.
Why?
Because
I have nothing to do with them. I don't even know them.
Well, then you need you need to exit my vehicle.
What do you mean? Go into the light. Let's take pictures. If there's any scratch, go in the light.
Trust me.
I need this lady to get out of my vehicle, please. I'm done. I'm not gonna go pick them up. I need you guys to exit.
Go into the light.
I don't even know.
Go into the light.
I'm done.
Go into the light.
I need you not to scream at me.
No, I'm not screaming at you. Go into the light.
You just said so. I'm done.
If I damage you.
Okay, I need you to exit my vehicle.
For what reason?
Exit my vehicle.
For what reason?
Because this trip is done and over with.
For what reason?
Because
that has nothing to do with it.
I'm done.
That has nothing to
I'm
do
done.
with it.
These passengers have clearly had one too many drinks, but that's not the reason for the disagreement, nor is the fact that the guy has somehow scratched her car. The driver, Ms. Chavez, doesn't want to go back to the bar she picked them up from to collect more people. She calmly asked them to exit her vehicle, but they aren't respecting her wishes. They're also about to make things a whole lot messier.
I'm done.
I don't know them.
I don't matter, but this is my vehicle. This is my personal vehicle, and I want you to exit the vehicle.
Oh, girl.
Whoa! You're on camera, lady. You're on camera.
I'm sorry, but like,
She. Look at this. I'm calling the cops right now. Look at this. What you just did.
Like a toddler throwing toys out of her pram because she can't get what she wants, the female passenger throws her takeaway tacos at the driver. Being assaulted in her own car is not what Ms. Chavez signed up for.
Kyle, I need you to come and see the mess that just happened. Look at this. Look at what she just did.
Yeah, she threw tacos.
Look at what she did. And this is on camera, by the way. This is your responsibility right now.
I'll clean it up.
Look at the back.
I'll clean it up.
You'll clean it up?
Yeah, and she's gonna pay for it, but like I was just taking pictures of the
I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that. This is way more. This is my night is done. I can't.
okay, for no reason. For no reason. I told you.
I needed you to exit.
away.
I'm calling the 911. Get away. Get away. Look at this. I can't. I'm done Ubering for the night. I can't even. What? Look what you did. This is my job. This is my job.
Was I not trying to get your parents?
Because this is my job. I'm losing money.
Well, but okay, well, you're gonna have to pay for this.
Okay, I'll pay for
I'm losing
But
money.
I was trying to get his parents. That's what
I don't know.
It's like you threw food in my face.
Not my parents.
You threw food in
Not mine.
Those are your parents?
I mean, you threw food in my face.
This is my house.
You are wrong,
It wasn't
lady.
your parents? That wasn't your parents?
I don't know.
Some might say there's no point in crying over spilt tacos, but in this case, it's understandable. Ms. Chavez released the video in hopes of tracking down the passenger. The incident happened in 2018, and it's unclear if any charges have been brought against the woman who threw the tacos.
And ain't nothing y'all can do about it.
You can't take it.
Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it.
How much land you buy here?
I bought 5 acres, sir.
5
the
acres?
whole 5 acres.
Yeah, I know exactly where it goes.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Right where I point. Right. Yeah, me too. Me and you ain't got no business arguing about my land, sir.
Okay.
What you can do is argue with somebody about your land.
I know how much land
I paid
got.
every dime of this 5 acres.
Yeah.
I paid for this. My money. I
You
worked.
got me video cord?
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, how
Yes,
you
sir.
doing, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Cameraman?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know,
and let
but
me
I
let
don't
you
know.
Let me let you know. We don't got no business talking.
Well, just let
you
me
talk
let
to my
you
attorney.
know.
You talk to my attorney.
My lawyer
when my
can't
attorney send the letters out after the survey to the church, and the county is either coming to tear this building down or move it, you and the rest of y'all are not welcome.
Let's check in on how America is doing on that whole racism epidemic, shall we? Not good, apparently. This man pulled up on his new neighbor to complain that his new black neighbor purchased 5 acres next to him. It's a bold move to pull this out while driving your work truck.
You can dig, you can rent it, you can rent out a spot where your family is buried at, or you could buy it. It's $30,000 for that area.
I'll tell you what I do, buddy. I just get the law down here.
You do that. You do that. I got my paperwork ready for him.
And you have a nice place.
I am. I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed with plenty of money and a lawyer too. Plenty of money and a lawyer too. Me too. Me too. But you don't own this land though. You don't own this land though. You don't own this land though. You don't own this land. You own behind it. You own behind it. Get the off my land.
Here's the thing. This is a very touchy situation, and it isn't helped by the fact that it's occurring in the Deep South. Maybe the man should just sell the driver back the grave sites at an elevated rate.
I said, get off my land. I didn't stutter. I said, get off my land.
I ain't on your land.
Okay, I'm about to bag out. Get my land.
I ain't on your land.
All right, stay there. Stay right 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 there. Don't move. I'm gonna run right into that mother. I'm gonna run that one bag right into that mother. Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there.
In 2018, a parking garage's CCTV captured an armed man robbing a student. The footage shows the student exiting his car just as the suspect slips into the driver's seat. In a desperate high-stakes attempt to protect his property, the student actually leaps onto the roof of the vehicle. The robber briefly steps out to kick the victim off, and after a quick struggle, he manages to shove the student aside and speed away with the car. The most unsettling part of this video isn't just the crime, but the crowd of bystanders nearby who simply watch the entire thing unfold without intervening. The bystander effect can make a busy parking lot feel incredibly lonely when you're in danger.
Что на видео? Вот что делает. 6, 7, 8, 6.
Compared to the saga that was the last clip, This road rage incident seems relatively tame. It shows a couple driving their car, with the passenger filming. Suddenly, a car appears behind them and attempts to pull up alongside their vehicle. After forcing the car to stop, the man driver tries to confront them on foot, which quickly evolves into a game of real-life dodgems.
ХТР 678. Машину пнул. ХТР 678. Вот что делать, вот что делать. Валь, останови, я видео. Не надо, не надо. Х678 ТР163.
After sideswiping their car, the man pulls up alongside again, but loses control and runs into oncoming traffic. The results are as expected. To think that car survived the Cold War to get taken out by road rage. If you thought the previous cases were twisted, prepare yourself for something truly stomach-churning. In March of 2024, an Amtrak train tragically struck and killed a 48-year-old pedestrian at a station in Wasco, California. It was a horrific accident, but what happened in the aftermath pushed the incident straight into nightmare territory. Viral footage captured 27-year-old Rosendo Tellez casually strolling down the street near the station, carrying a severed human leg. He had literally walked into the active accident scene and stolen the detached limb of the deceased victim. But it gets even worse.
Seeing a man just walking, passing the railroad tracks. He passed the railroad tracks, he came back there like several times. And out of nowhere, we went to the back and we just seen the train stop, but we never realized what happened.
Witnesses didn't just see him carrying it around. According to bystanders, including an Amtrak worker who spoke to the local news, Tellez was swinging the limb around, hitting it against a wall, and most disturbingly of all, gnawing on it. The video shows him inspecting the appendage, lifting it to his face, and seemingly sniffing and chewing on it as he nonchalantly walks away from the horrified onlookers. When police arrive, Tellez didn't exactly put up a fight. In fact, he reportedly waved at the cameras before being sworn by Kern County deputies. He was promptly arrested and slapped with a very specific charge: removing human remains from a location other than a cemetery, along with several outstanding warrants and possession of drug paraphernalia. While it's highly likely that narcotics played a massive role in his crazed behavior, it doesn't make his total disregard for the victim's remains any easier to watch. Sometimes restaurant workers are forced to defend themselves against customers like these. Apparently, this customer started crashing out when the staff refused to serve him wings at closing time. Unable to just accept it and maybe come back another time, he started down a path that would later lead to jail.
She got real. Oh, my style. He don't know. Oh.
Did the worker go too far here by smashing the dude's phone? Well, if you think he did, just wait until you see how far the customer went.
He did not do that. Oh. Oh.
Yep, that's the customer's truck smashing into the restaurant, turning it into a makeshift drive-thru before speeding off, still without his wings. Unsurprisingly, The customer, 24-year-old Josiah Brown, was later arrested and charged with first and second-degree assault, as well as malicious destruction of property. Most people break into homes and apartments intending to steal something. This guy, he just wants to play hide and seek. When Norcross, Georgia police received a call of a break-in at a vacant apartment, they immediately went on the search. But even they were surprised at where they actually found the man.
Good night, guy, please show me your right now. Manos arriba. Manos arriba. En este momento. Manos. Manos. I can see his hands. I got his hands. Manos. Manos en tu cabeza.
To be fair, the refrigerator is a pretty good hiding place. But if your complaint is that it's cold outside, maybe try the furnace.
Bring your hands up.
I don't have nothing. I don't do drugs. I don't have nothing, man.
You're under arrest.
Why?
You got cuffs?
What? I just trying to get something to store and sleep, man. It's cold outside.
We got somewhere for you to sleep.
What I did though?
Parking lots are famous for testing your patience, but this guy clearly hit his absolute limit. This surreal footage captures a man so fed up with a broken exit barrier that he decided to take matters into his own hands, literally. Armed with an axe, he begins striking the metal arm with total desperation until it finally shatters. The scene turns even more chaotic when a security guard steps in to stop him, leading to a brief struggle as the man continues his assault. Meanwhile, other drivers just casually roll past the scene as if nothing out of the ordinary is happening. Okay, strap in. Here we have a video from 2011 that appears to show some sort of Mortal Kombat style fight to the death happening in the middle of a Russian street. It starts off mid-battle, with two men going after one another in an alcove while a third man attempts to intervene. After the newcomer delivers a few swift kicks, he speaks to several other men who seem to appear out of nowhere. At this point, guy number 3 has his two associates start to wander off, at which point one of the earlier fighters returns. Now, we have 4 men, one holding a large rock, standing around talking, while the original fighter lies passed out in an alley. Then, out of nowhere, these guys start fighting. After chasing off one of their brothers, they return to embrace a 5th man. Meanwhile, the passed out man has gotten up and wandered off. Enter 2 new people, who clearly aren't friends because the man with the rock immediately uses it to knock one of them out, at which point half the neighborhood comes out to see what's happening, including a barefoot lady with a large box. By this point, the shirtless man involved in the original fight is the only person left, and when he sees someone attempting to provide aid to the rock victim, he delivers a swift kick to the would-be doctor's head, knocking them out as well. Finally, It appears it's over, but the shirtless guy decides to perform CPR on the rock victim, despite just knocking out the person who was originally trying to help. Anyway, if you want to convince me this was a scene from a Guy Ritchie movie called Vodka, I'd believe you. Sometimes a person's behavior after a crime is even more chilling than the act itself. In July 2024, residents of Herzliya, Israel witnessed a scene straight out of a horror movie. A woman, drenched head to toe in blood, was captured on camera casually walking barefoot towards a local shopping mall. In her hand, a double-edged axe. This is 33-year-old Sigal Iskovich. Just moments before this terrifying footage was taken, she had committed an unthinkable crime. Inside her apartment, she ambushed her 6-year-old son in the bathtub. Then, fearing neighbors would hear their injured dog howling, she grabbed an axe and slaughtered the family pet, striking the animal over 40 times. Instead of hiding, she changed her clothes, picked up the fur-covered axe, and walked out into the streets. Witnesses reported she was grinning, and her face was so caked in blood that it looked like a mask. Along the way, she swung her weapon at passing cars and bystanders before finally attacking a mall security guard, who managed to help disarm her. When questioned by authorities, Iskovich bizarrely claimed that her family had been abducted by aliens who were controlling her actions. In early 2025, a court found her not guilty by reason of insanity, committing her to a psychiatric institution for 25 years. It's a truly horrifying break from reality and a devastating loss of innocent life. The rules of a drive-thru are pretty clear. I mean, it's in the name. You drive through and collect your order while the staff hand you your food through the window. But at a Taco Bell in 2021, an angry customer crossed the line in more ways than one. It's hard to imagine what could make anyone this upset about a fast food order. After vaulting through the window like a crazed animal, the man punches a female employee in the face after he's swarmed upon by other members of staff. Following a bit of a struggle, he's quickly pushed back out the way he came. He's given his hat back, as well as a reminder never to visit the store again, in much harsher words, I suspect. Meanwhile, the poor employee is left on the ground to be consoled, wondering what just happened and probably thinking she doesn't get paid anywhere near enough for this. We don't know if the customer was ever arrested or charged for the assault because, sadly, this type of incident happens far too often. Nothing is more upsetting than watching someone succumb to road rage. Imagine going to jail or getting sued simply because you can't take a minute and count to 10. This poor truck driver doesn't even seem to see what's coming at him, as evidenced by the fact that he doesn't even raise his arms to block this.
والله صاحبي يا وين مرضي
Instead, he goes down like a lump of potatoes, while the other driver just pulls off. You have to wonder what the attacker's passengers thought of all of that. He was later arrested, and the victim hospitalized with a skull fracture. I mean, put your hands up, dude. Dashcam footage shows police in a high-speed pursuit of a truck through Pleasant Hills after the driver refused to stop. During the chase, other motorists on the highway actually tried to intervene and block the truck's path, but the driver managed to evade them and kept going. The pursuit then cut through a parking lot, where the truck narrowly avoided hitting several parked cars before swerving back onto the main road. Despite scraping a wheel against the curb, the driver continued to flee until the truck finally crashed into the road. Officers were then able to move in and make the arrest, ending a dangerous situation that had put the local community at risk. This is one of those no-context videos that have made Russia so famous. Footage shows an apparently intoxicated man standing on top of an awning. Authorities and random strangers seem to be trying to provide aid, but the man doesn't appear responsive. After a cut, the footage shows the man standing in a completely different place, viciously kicking at a window before falling to the ground. This time, the authorities aren't trying to help. Instead, they pummel the man with sticks and fists until they can arrest him safely. Who needs context anyway? These days, almost everyone has heard the horror stories about hidden cameras and vacation rentals, but finding one in real life is a completely different nightmare. In Hocking Hills, Ohio, a family's relaxing getaway turned into a terrifying ordeal when they discovered a tiny camera hidden in the downstairs bathroom of the rental cabin, a property appropriately named the Sly Fox Lodge. Body cam footage shows deputies arriving at the cabin after the family called 911.
Yeah, I was about to say, so we went out to eat last night. We went to the gas station and whatnot. We came back here. Me and Dole got into the hot tub. I went down there and was changing in the bathroom, whole nine, and then he walked in there to go pee and just happened to notice something black at the ceiling. And when he reached up there and picked it up, he thought, he's like, that looks like a camera, so he hollered for me, and I went walking in there. And as I pulled it down, I'm like, it definitely looked like a, like a little mini cam. So we pulled the drop ceiling or whatever, we pulled that back, and as soon as I went, it's all linked, connected.
The father explains that his wife spotted the tiny device, which looked like a nano cam. When investigators examined the bathroom, they found the camera lens perfectly aligned with a small hole in the drop ceiling, pointed directly towards the shower and toilet. It was even wired to an extension cord hidden out of sight above the ceiling tiles. The property owner, 39-year-old Jason Yard, initially tried to claim the camera was simply for security purposes. However, investigators soon uncovered his extensive history of purchasing Wi-Fi spy cameras and related equipment. In a sickening, ironic twist, Yard's online listing even explicitly threatened guests with a $500 fine if they dared to tamper with his cameras. But the situation was far more sinister than a simple privacy violation. Because children were present, Yard was ultimately taken into custody and pleaded no contest to felony illegal use of a minor in nudity-oriented material.
What started as security for my rental property turned into unnecessary curiosity. I knew it was wrong, but the novelty quickly wore off.
He was sentenced to 6 to 9 years behind bars and will be required to register as a sex offender for the next 25 years. At a Burger King drive-thru in Florida, need I say more, a couple complained about a missing drink, and the result was drinks flying everywhere.
Yo, look at that dog. He threw all that. Look. Look at the car. Look at the car. Look at that.
I'm gonna drive.
No, wait, call the cops.
I am, but
no, it's all right. We're gonna wait, and we are moving the car from here. That's fine. We're getting a report right now. Burger King is gonna have to pay us.
Hello?
Burger King is gonna have to pay.
Where the we located? Where we at?
And Caseo? Yo, what's the address?
It's possible that the customers did something to upset the employee, other than complaining about their missing Coke, before they started filming. But it's clear that the employee was having a bad day and wasn't exactly professional in their response. In the workers' defense, they were doing a night shift at Burger King, which is enough to drive anyone mad.
Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Damn.
The joys of living in Los Angeles. This person clearly has a little method to her madness, if you catch our drift. Either due to a lack of drugs or too many of them, she's decided to go on a rampage, breaking things, slapping people, and generally being a menace to society. At least this guy caught her on film.
Ma'am, get away from her. Yeah.
On July 13, 2023, the Hapeville Police Department responded to a bizarre low-speed pursuit involving a suspect driving a stolen tractor. The driver, identified as Matthew Fortune, led authorities through 3 different Georgia towns before finally veering into a Waffle House parking lot. Once there, he used the heavy farm equipment to ram several parked vehicles, including a police cruiser. Body camera footage captures the chaotic scene as responding officers arrive to find the massive tractor positioned among the wreckage of destroyed cars.
You're in custody. I never would have resisted. I would have gone right into this. Nothing. It's water. Just give me a second. I got water in the back of my car. What do you need? Hey, water. Get another cup of water. You need another cup of water? I don't need a top or anything. This one? Sorry. Yep. Trevor was driving ID. Yeah, we'll get that for you. After he ran my lieutenant's vehicle,
After a period of resistance, Fortune was eventually apprehended inside the restaurant, where officers provided him with water before he was handcuffed and booked on multiple charges across all 3 jurisdictions. In most places around the world, crime is largely confined to dark corners and evenings. In Russia, some of the most terrifying encounters happen right out in the open. Check out the surveillance footage. It shows a group of people standing on the side of the street talking. Then, out of nowhere, they start to tug at each other. It soon becomes clear that 2 of the men are trying to control the other. This causes them to forcibly pick up the man and drag him into a waiting car. People have pointed out that these people appear to be the authorities, but others disagree. If you know anything about the symbol on the back of the car window, sound off in the comments.
Nice to meet you. We got a call that someone got bit at the church. Yeah.
When you think of a church, you generally imagine a place of peace, sanctuary, and forgiveness. But not at this Catholic parish in St. Cloud, Florida. Body cam footage released by police shows the aftermath of a truly bizarre incident in which a 66-year-old priest literally sank his teeth into a woman's arm. Footage shows officers arriving at the church to investigate a report of a physical altercation during Mass.
I was watching the video of what happened.
Okay. Can I watch it with you, or?
Yeah.
Did you see it happen?
Well, it doesn't show that much.
She's just like, went on.
Like she's trying to take it something.
Yes, she's trying to take it for us as the body of Christ, so that's sick.
Is there, in the process for this, does he have to hand it to her? Like, does he have to place it in her mouth?
She has to put her hands in a specific way. So if she doesn't put her hands in a specific way...
But he doesn't have to put it in her mouth. He can just put it in her hand. She just has to hold her hand.
Either or,
like that,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Either or.
They speak with the suspect, Father Fidel Rodriguez, who openly admits to the bizarre act. According to the priest, the woman had come up to receive communion, but she hadn't taken the proper steps beforehand, like going to confession, and wasn't holding her hands correctly to receive the host. Because of this, he refused to serve her. Upset by the rejection, the woman stuck around for a later Mass and tried again, When he refused her a second time, she allegedly reached out and grabbed the bowl of communion wafers herself. That's when the priest decided to get physical. On the body cam, Rodriguez justifies his actions to the police, stating that grabbing her arm and biting her was the only way that he could defend what was sacred to them.
She started pushing me, agreeing me, and some ministers came and grabbed her and asked her to leave. She don't want to leave, and she wouldn't leave, making a scandal in all the mass. The mass stopped. Everything was a disaster, scandal in the mass.
So let me ask you something, Father. So you felt justice?
I recognized that by her as defense, and as defending myself and defending the sacrament.
So you felt like she was kind of, it's a sacred place, right? So she was kind of
She made a scandal.
She was defiling.
She pushed me. She agreed with me. She was very. I tell you that the attitude was very defiant.
When the medics examined the victim, she describes the bite mark on her wrist, stating that the priest clamped down on her like a beaver would with a log. While you shouldn't go around grabbing things that don't belong to you, a spiritual leader biting a parishioner like a wild animal is undeniably depraved. The police agreed, forwarding the case to the state attorney's office with a recommendation for simple battery charges against the man of the cloth. On July 19, 2018, in Clearwater, Florida, a dispute over a parking space at a convenience store escalated into a fatal shooting that drew national attention. The incident began when 28-year-old Marquise McLaughlin and his girlfriend, Brittany Jacobs, pulled into the lot with their 3 children. Jacobs parked in a handicapped space while McLaughlin entered the store. Shortly after, 47-year-old Michael Draca arrived and began a heated argument with Jacobs regarding the parking spot, even though Draca reportedly parked illegally himself. Witnessing the confrontation from inside the store, McLaughlin ran outside to protect his girlfriend and pushed Draca to the ground. Draca immediately drew a handgun and fired a single shot into McLaughlin's chest. While McLaughlin was able to retreat back into the store, he tragically died from his injuries a short time later. Although Draca had a concealed weapons permit and claimed he acted in self-defense, surveillance footage was a critical piece of evidence. It showed that McLaughlin had actually taken several steps back and was attempting to walk away when the shot was fired.
We're gonna take them off. You're gonna be cool?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know you. I don't know nothing about what's going on.
I know. You have my absolute word, sir.
You understand that you have the right to remain silent? I'm going to need a verbal response.
Yes, sir, if you will.
Okay. Do you understand that anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law?
Yes. Thank you for being very professional.
During his interrogation, Draca was collaborative but described himself as a civic enforcer, stating he felt the need to protect handicapped parking spots because of his mother and ex-girlfriend.
I did exactly what I thought I was supposed to be doing at that time, considering what was happening. Every day there's somebody pulled in the handicap spot there, just waiting on somebody. Okay. I have a pet peeve about it. I said, it's not very polite to park here when there's other people who need to use this. She says, is it affecting you directly? I said, if my mother-in-law rolls in, yes, it will be.
Investigations later revealed that Draca had a history of road rage and had previously pulled a gun on others, including a prior argument over a parking space at that exact same location. Though he was not arrested on the day of the shooting, Draca was eventually charged and convicted of manslaughter. At the Walnut Hill Apartments in Macon, Georgia, just after 11 p.m. on a Friday night, police officers were called to deal with the aftermath of an escort service gone wrong. This is 27-year-old Jada Simone Johnson. She is the woman who placed the 911 call and claims to be a witness. But, as the officers are about to find out, not everything is as it seems.
How do you get into the door?
The back door is unlocked, but the front door, I locked it. But when I ran and got my kids, I locked the front door.
Where your kids at?
They're with the neighbor right now.
Okay, who's upstairs?
That's my friend.
Is he shot?
Yes, he's been shot. I don't know if he's alive. I didn't get to check. I don't know.
All right.
Did someone come around back there?
You was just walking on the backside.
Yeah, I was trying to get your attention.
Okay. Sheriff's office. Sheriff's office. Stay back. Got one down.
Inside the apartment, the officers discovered the deceased body of 39-year-old Wayman Danzy. He has been fatally shot in the chest.
Looks like he hit in the chest. Shell casing. Yeah, right there for the door. 10-4 dispatch, we got a shell casing. You might want to go ahead and notify the investigator crime lab.
Being an apparent witness, Jada is interviewed at the police station as the police search for answers. However, her responses raise more than a few eyebrows. She tells the investigator that she performs escort services, and when a previous client refused to pay, Wayman, who was essentially her pimp, told her to lure the client to the apartment where Wayman would be waiting for them with a gun. Jada claims she wasn't worried about the money, and says she warned Wayman that if he confronted the client, there would be trouble. As it turns out, she wasn't wrong. However, Wayman wouldn't back down, and Jada said she felt compelled to go along with this plan. So, she sent texts to the client, asking him to meet her. Next, Jada explains what happened when the client turned up and how Wayman was there waiting for him, but as she predicted, things started to go wrong.
So what they want? Come and try what Wayman do? He beat.
Okay, now this part is a little foggy. I just waking up still. Okay. I had just went to sleep. Probably been sleeping, and Wayman came in. I opened the door. I said he probably understood.
I said he
probably he understood. I gave him the phone so he see everything. And calling, and he like that's perfect. He got here right on time. He's now walked the basketball. Like I said, I heard the Velcro. And when I finally seen his hands, he had put the gloves, had some black gloves on.
What did he tell you to do?
He told me to. He said, when you open the door, he said, have your gun on you. And he said, no, he told me to have my gun out.
So he told you to do it, so you put your gun there because he told you?
Yeah.
Okay. So you put your gun in your pocket, or in your waistline?
Yeah.
So then what happened? So did he knock at the door or what happened?
He was knocking at the door.
He was?
He was, but I started panicking.
So what did he do?
He's staying right here with the kitchen did we down and I'm trying to do what am I supposed to do. Yeah, I don't know what am I supposed to do. Go open the door.
And what did he do?
He was standing right where the walkway is to go to the room.
Bedroom right there.
And I'm like, man, if I open that door, he gonna see you. It's a bright light out there, like he gonna see what you just gonna start shooting as soon as I open the door. Because he was telling me before, all you gotta do is just duck, and I'm just like, no, like I'm gonna get shot in the process.
So he was gonna kill him.
I guess so.
No. I'm gonna ask, what did he tell you he was gonna do?
He told me he was gonna make him pay. He didn't say I'm gonna kill him, but he said I'm gonna make him pay.
Okay, he didn't say he wanted you to what?
He said he was gonna know to never fuck about it ever again. Now, But then he also said he's not gonna be able to just walk away from you. He said, you walk away, he don't come back.
According to Jada, Waymond was determined to make the client pay one way or another, and she was powerless to stop it. Unfortunately for him, the client was also armed, and it was Waymond who ended up paying the ultimate price.
So you were standing, what about you standing?
I was standing at this point, this delivery room.
So what did you already gun out, or you had to put it out?
I had my gun out the moment they started fighting.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, I didn't know if he was gonna knock the gun out of one hand and pull his gun out, so I just had my gun out so he wouldn't shoot it.
Mm-hmm. So then what happened?
They fighting, and within the midst of them fighting, my gun gets knocked out of my hand, and the clip comes out. So Wayman telling me to shoot, and I'm like, I can't. I can't shoot him. He hit me. I can't shoot him. At this point, I'm about to go and get my key, and I'm about to leave. But I hear a gunshot.
Do you think Jada would have fired if the clip hadn't fallen out of the gun? Is she even telling the truth? Either way, Waymond ended up getting shot, and although Jada seemed to think that she was a bystander and had done little wrong, the officers didn't see things the same way. Jada was charged with felony murder. However, she later pleaded guilty to a lesser count of aggravated assault and will serve 5 years in prison, followed by 15 years of probation. Let's finish up with this disturbing clip. It features a beloved 94-year-old man getting pushed to the ground in a seemingly random attack. The man, who was widely known around the neighborhood as Grandpa Visha, died after this violent outburst occurred. The man who did this was later arrested and claimed that he simply had been under a lot of stress that day. He was sentenced to 8 years, but released on probation, which spurred a lot of anger from the Asian American community in San Francisco, where this took place.